Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Guapish Rule 34. As always, I'm your host, Nico, and today our usual guest couldn't really join us, so I had to kind of plumb the depths of just like the local dregs, you know? So first up here is a guest who, you know, he's reached rock bottom at this point, and honestly, he's showing signs of like starting to dig again. We've got Tanner joining us.
That's right, I'm gonna dive deep down into that dirt and rob the grave of opportunity.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. And next up here, we also have another guest. He's not so much of a has-been, but more of a definitely won't be, which is Jackson.
That is absolutely true. I'm going nowhere in my life, and I'm proud.
And finally, we also have Dylan, who has, you know, just kind of delusions of adequacy.
I mean, they're not delusions of adequacy. They are legitimate adequacy, and that's all I ever will be.
Delusions, like I said. So, guys, first up here, first order of business. Now, we've been watching a lot of movies recently, correct?
Hell yeah,
we sure have.
Now, one thing that's come up time and time again, Tanner, that I'd really like to pick your brain on here, or just like, you know, pause it to the cast here, as it were. There seems to be like this trend in a lot of media where like people who are like mentally ill and shit, or just like out of their minds, they drink milk. What's up with that?
Oh.
What do you...
There's always a scene of them just like drinking some milk.
Do you have examples of this?
about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
For example, when we checked out No Country for Old Men, guy there, Mr. Murder Guy, he was drinking milk.
He sure does.
Yeah. In The Mist, which we watched this week, we'll get more to that later, crazy religious nut lady, she drinks milk.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you have seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the crazy incest family, they only drink one thing, and what is it, Tanner?
Yes, milk.
What's up with that?
What is it?
What's the deal with that?
I'm assuming you looked into it, but...
No.
What?
Looked into it. I'd be
we
surprised if there's just an answer about this.
I feel like there should be an answer with
Why
this
do
many
the mentally
coincidences.
deranged drink milk? I think there's just this
You
stereotype.
fucking stop looking up right now, Dylan. We're talking about this right now.
What?
Go on, Tanner.
I think there's just this stereotype of like drinking milk being a sort of infantile thing.
Yeah.
And so in order to display someone as like kind of kooky who's an adult, you'll have them do infantile things like drinking milk, I guess. Maybe.
I could see that.
Or maybe it's just like milk is not like, we don't really think of milk as a casual beverage.
Yeah, it's not like a refreshing thing that you just like drink typically. Like it's more so
It
something
is
you'll
for
pair
me,
with other
but-
stuff. Oh, okay.
I mean, on another note, though, too, like, contrasting it with if you have that same scene, but in fact they're holding a bottle of, like, alcohol or something. You know, something impairing to their attitude. So maybe they're trying to portray, like, hey, this person's actually insane because they're just drinking something as harmless as milk and they're already this fucking insane. Like, there's no alcohol or drug here.
Maybe it's because milk is the only liquid that you won't mistake for a type of alcohol. Because, like, if you have them drinking a glass of water, you can be like, that's vodka.
Vodka, yeah. So, I feel like that would be the most logical thing at this point.
Perhaps. Do you have any theories, Nico?
Milk is like pretty thick, right?
I wouldn't say...
Sure?
I wouldn't
Like compared to
attribute...
something like water, Dylan. Milk is like
Sure.
pretty thick to drink.
I mean, I don't know, man. Liquid goes down like liquid regardless, so I don't really test the consistency of milk compared to water.
I guess so.
That's
it. Milk is thick, Tanner. That's all I had to say on that manner.
That's all. That's the extent of your...
I would only say milk has the capability of becoming thick, but I wouldn't put it past that.
Jackson, do you have any theories at all?
Oh gosh, I think it's because they all have deep traumatic mommy issues, and because of that they want to drink milk to relive their repressed memories.
Yeah.
I got a question bouncing off of that. What do you guys think are worse, daddy issues or mommy issues?
Ooh. That's a toughie. Cause like...
I think it depends on which gender you are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're a dude, you got mommy issues, I feel like that's pretty bad, but if you're a girl and have daddy issues, that's probably equally as bad, but like,
that's
the
pretty
corresponding...
hot, honestly.
I
I've
hard
dealt with girls
disagree.
with daddy issues, and it's pretty sweet.
No, I don't...
I hard disagree. I think mommy issues are worse for both by a considerable extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that just because the girl would have, like, nobody to, like model themselves after or something, however you want to say that.
Isn't that what Tanner just said?
I mean, I was giving a more specific example. Like, he just said...
Okay.
Anyway. I'm not paying attention, clearly.
Yeah, I guess not. So, speaking of, like, weird beverages and bullshit, okay?
Uh-huh.
So here's another thing. Now, we haven't watched any movies quite yet that involves this sort of thing, Tanner. However, there's a sort of, like, thing that we see portrayed in media a lot, okay? Where, like, after you're done shagging a little bit or something, you know, you catch my drift. A character will just, like, drink a big old glass of OJ. Why does that happen?
I don't know how many times I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that very much either.
I've seen that on numerous occasions.
I know it's very much a thing with, like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, that was another one I was about to bring up. Also, smoking a cigarette as well. Why is that also a thing that happens?
It's just like, it's supposed to be relaxing or whatever. I think the OJ is like, there's like iron and vitamin C in it. I think the implication is they're trying to replenish themselves.
Okay.
Probably.
So, like, they're getting ready for round 2, you know?
Exactly. Which is why in that one episode of Rick and Morty, where Morty is fucking the sex robot, he chugs a gallon of orange juice.
Yeah. Which is another thing that we see in King of the Hill, by the way. When Carl Moss or whatever, the principal, goes to live with Bill, and he starts fucking Bill's other roommate, at some point just, like, goes on into the kitchen, he gets a big old thing of orange juice, downs it, and it's like, oh, you need more orange juice, Bill, and then he goes back to shagging her, you know?
Man, I don't remember that at all.
I can't say that I remember any of these examples, so I'm just kind of
Is the King of the Hill reboot, revival, whatever the fuck out yet?
No.
Okay. You looking forward to that one, Nico?
Yeah.
Really? You don't think it's gonna be a disaster?
I lose more and more hope as, like, each reboot comes out and they're all bad, so...
Yeah, have there been any good, like, TV show reboots?
That's a good question.
Do any of
the Teen Titans go?
No. No.
There have been a bunch of different versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I don't know if those count as reboots.
I wouldn't really consider them one, no.
Yeah. Because those are, like, on and off with each version.
I think the most, like, recent Futurama reboot's pretty good. Or, like, that's not really...
Is that out yet?
Yeah, I remember, I think it's just, like, a couple episodes right now, but...
I guess they rebooted... Wait, did they reboot Psych? Did people like that?
I have no idea.
I don't watch enough TV to know about reboots, and most of the shows I watch typically have no need to get rebooted anyway. So.
Yeah, there's been, like... There was that pretty bad Fairly Odd Parents one. iCarly recently got rebooted as well, which wasn't great.
Oh, shit. Yeah, wait, Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, it was, like, live action, but, like, fucking Cosmo and Wanda would appear every now and then, and they'd be, like, basically just fucking PNGs. They barely animated them.
Oh.
They'd, like, slip in some animation here and there throughout the show, and it's all terrible every time.
Gotcha. For whatever reason, you said Fairly Odd Parents, and the movie sprang to my mind for whatever reason, but...
Yeah, those are also pretty rough.
Yeah,
I think they're...
movie.
Oh, you know what? The Samurai Jack was pretty good, though.
They rebooted Samurai Jack?
That was a while
I think
ago.
I'd count that as... It's like a revival. They brought it back to do a season 5 and give, like, an actual ending to the story.
Yeah.
I need to go back and actually watch it all the way through. I loved watching Samurai Jack as a kid.
Yeah, I still remember when we did the Cartoon Network. Was it even a tier list that we did of those shows, or was it like a ranking of our top 10
we
or
did
something?
top 10, but it was like consecutive, or not consecutive. It was
whatever. And I ranked fucking Samurai Jack really highly, and I had no idea that there was like a conclusion to it all.
Yeah.
Which apparently is like the best part of all of it.
It's really good.
Yeah, I gotta watch that sometime.
Gendy Tartakovsky is a really talented motherfucker.
Yeah, I think that might be about it, though. Everything else I'm not a big fan of, I would say.
Yeah, well...
But maybe this will change things, man.
Yeah, maybe this one will work. Maybe this one and Futurama will work. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
You would think so.
I mean, Futurama went off air and back on a bunch of times. Are those reboots?
I guess not.
I was gonna say, it depends on if it's a continuation of the old story or not.
What old show would you guys want, like, rebooted or revivaled or, like, a spiritual successor or whatever the fuck?
Ooh. I know that like everyone out there would say like Firefly, please continue it. It only got one season or some bullshit. But I don't fucking care. Fuck you with your Firefly bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about the show. I'm being unnecessarily brutal towards you people.
You people.
Yeah.
You people. Yeah, I got two answers, but I don't know. I don't know if I. One of them you guys would probably find understandable. The other one, Nico would probably roast me alive for it.
Lambast you for, you piece of shit. Code Lyoko, say it already.
Yeah, actually, one of them was Code Lyoko.
Man, that's crazy.
I think an anime interpretation of that show would be amazing, to be honest.
Let's see.
What's the other one, Dylan?
Teen Titans.
Okay.
Like an actually good Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, because, like, you always run the risk of, like, that amazing thing that you really like being tainted, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Just ruining its legacy.
Yeah.
Which makes it tricky to determine something.
I feel like Chowder did not get an ending that was very satisfying.
Yeah, it did kind of end abruptly, because it was just the one episode where he becomes, like, an adult or whatever,
What the
right?
fuck am I talking about? Bring back Generator Rex, please!
Ooh, yes!
Give me another season!
I forgot about that, you're right!
That one, they really just, like, kind of cut it short.
I don't even think I saw any
choice.
of the end season stuff. Damn, I had one, and you said Generator Rex, and I got excited.
Jackson, do you even watch TV?
No, I pretty much just watch, like, anime.
Yeah.
Are there any
I barely
animes you would
watched
want
that.
some kind of a revival or spiritual successor or any of that shit?
Oh, actually, I have my answer. Jackson, you pick first, though.
No, I didn't think about it from an anime perspective, so you fucking say it and give me some time.
Okay, fucking Infinity Train. That's the big one I'd say for me.
That's what I
makes
was gonna
sense.
say. I'm really shocked you didn't immediately say that.
Yeah, that was, like, in your top 10 list for so long when we did our list.
Yeah, I knew there was something in my noggin that was rooting around in there. I just couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, Infinity Train, they had plans for like a couple more seasons, but they cut it short. So the last season we actually got was very much so meant to be just like, you know, just like a nice little middle portion that sort of like it pads things out a little bit, answers a few more questions here and there. But no, it ended up being the last one. So definitely ended on an anticlimactic note overall, I would say.
I still need to get around to seeing that one.
I think, for whatever reason, my brain wants to say Adventure Time, but I think that came to a pretty good conclusive end.
They definitely opened up a lot of room for like the show continuing past that, though.
Yeah.
Like within the last episode, they introduced like a bunch of new characters for like, this is what everyone is like thousands of years in the future now.
Yeah. So that actually would leave room for kind of like a reboot, revitalization. I don't know if it'd be a reboot if they continue it in the future, but
It'd be like kind of a sequel show almost.
yeah.
I like to see sort of like a sequel, like, you know, in the future follow up to Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. I think that something like that would work really well as like an anthology or something like that.
Yeah. Or do like a kind of like the way the story of It works, where you had the kid encounter with the thing, and then they go back as adults.
Yeah, it could be cool.
That'd be kind of cool. What, I don't remember. What are the kids' names? Wilt and Newt or something like that?
It's Wart and fucking I forget his little brother's name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I found 3 anime examples of shows. Maybe not necessarily exactly what we're talking about, but
Noragami?
No, Noragami would be cool, but I think like a full remaster of Akame Got Killed would be sweet, because when that was initially coming out, the anime just was making new content because the manga wasn't finished publishing, and it has like a totally different ending than the manga, and I think the anime ending is fucking ass. Plus, they just leave out a massive amount of world building stuff from the anime, so I think, or from the manga. So I think like giving it like a 32 episode full season, flesh it out, you know, give the good ending would be awesome, because they really did the show dirty.
They absolutely did, but also I don't want to see the pedo clown like on TV, man.
Maybe we don't have to keep that part in. Next up is Spice and Wolf. They cut that off pretty abruptly from where it is in the manga. The manga is like even still publishing some pretty new stuff, so I'd like to see that continued. I really liked Spice and Wolf as a child. And then finally Hyoka, which is like a rom-com mystery show. and it is still insanely popular for some reason. Like, I'm still seeing, like, at least, like, a couple fan arts of the two protagonists every month, I'd say. People love this couple. They're fucking obsessed with them, and there's a lot more stuff from, like, the manga they could adapt, and the show is just really good itself, so I'd like to see that continue, too.
That's a good one. What's Spice and Wolf about?
Spice and Wolf is an economy and drama show, where it's basically a wandering trader. He goes around, like, this is like in not medieval times, but like it's a while ago, and he meets Hollow, who is the fucking goddess of the harvest or whatever, and she's like a wolf chick, and she accompanies him, and they do trading and stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Huh.
Now, Tanner, you gave me a weird look when I said pedo clown, as if like, pedo clown, what's the big deal? Why shouldn't they include that? Which I found
they have one in Hunter x Hunter.
Exactly. However, Tanner, this one goes far beyond that pedo clown.
Oh.
Jackson, do you recall what exactly happens with this guy?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Your name is Jackson.
I didn't hear him say my name. Yeah, no, I don't remember a ton from A Come I Got Killed, to be completely honest with you.
Okay, so this shit's fucked, alright? So, Tanner, basically, the pedo clan is on the side of, like, the bad guy government or whatever the fuck. But there are some, like, cool people who work there as well, you know? There's some cool people along that team that we follow. And one of those dudes is, like, a big old family man, okay? He's got a beautiful wife and a daughter who he loves very much. But at some point, he needs to tragically commit suicide to try and kill our main heroes. But, like, you know, he was a great dude. Everyone loved him. He was super friendly and stuff. But then later, his wife and child go to his grave to, like, mourn for him or whatever. And the pedo clown and this other dude who worked for the government show up. And they just fucking rape him, dude.
Jesus.
And likely murder them as well. It's
Doesn't the clown rape, like, an entire... Doesn't the dude, like, rape an entire classroom of kids as well?
No.
Or kill them or something?
No, yes, he does do that, actually. I completely forgot about that.
He blocked out the memory.
How do you
Oh my
pull that
gosh.
off?
Yeah, what I thought you were about to say was at one point they go and like stop this theater troupe who I forget what exactly they were doing. I think they were like making some like anti-government play or some bullshit, and they just fucking murder and rape all of them. And there's the clown is just like standing off to the side. He's like, I'm not interested in any of this. But he sees a little boy there too. He's like, oh, here we go. Finally, I found my time to shine. It's super fucked up.
I admittedly don't know anything about Akame ga Kill. Does the anime have rape in it?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's ever shown in the anime, no.
Okay.
Could be wrong, though. The manga is full of that shit, though.
Yeah, there's
a
a shitload in the manga.
Oh, God.
I've got two more anime answers. One, give me a reboot of Yu-Gi-Oh! But make it manga accurate. Where it's super fucked up. That'd be cool. And then this is probably a surprising answer coming out of me. But just give me the ultimate, bestest, final, we're not doing any more version of Evangelion. I get a lot of fucking hate for how much I'm just meh on this fucking show. Just give me whatever, create some magnum opus version, because there's too many, there's like double .0 versions of movies and all this bullshit, and there's a third girl or some shit I don't know about. Just distill it down into whatever you think the best is going to be, and then deliver it to me so I can say, okay, fine, it's kind of good.
Tanner,
or say it's still bad.
You know full well that'll end up being a visual novel, though.
Yeah, I've actually been meaning to get back into Evangelion because I've been seeing a bunch of stuff about the version like .2, and it looks really interesting. Like I've been seeing a bunch of people post clips and shit about it on YouTube, and I've only watched the original series and the end of Evangelion. There's so much more. I don't even know what the fucking .2 version is, to be honest.
Yeah,
and I
so
want to get
like
back
the
into
movies, the first couple of them, it's like the whatever ones. So the first couple of them follow really closely to the anime. It's basically just like a summarization of the events that happen from it. Every now and then there'll be like a little thing that happens that's different, but overall it's like exactly the same thing. But then after that, the next couple of movies, it just completely breaks the timeline and goes on its own thing, where there's this third girl that Tanner was talking about and all this other bullshit. And apparently it's pretty good. Allegedly.
My problem is...
I've only watched the first two, so...
Right. My problem is, I know they're just going to keep making these things. Just make one final...
No, from what I heard, the most recent one is the final one that they'll be making.
Is that what I'm talking about, where it's like the purest form of what this fucking franchise is supposed to be?
I don't think anyone understands what that movie is, so it's hard to say.
God damn it. I guess I'm never going to be into Evangelion.
Well, we're gonna watch all 4 of those movies. Don't you worry. We'll get
eventually. Yeah.
Nico's picking them this week.
I don't think they're on my list at all. So
I really like how every once in a while I'll be, thinking about the movie list. I'm like, man, I'm running out of movies to think of. And then the next day I'll think of like 5 right off the top of my head. I'm like, oh right, there are a lot of movies.
There sure are. That's why I keep a running list of like 150 or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's discluding sequels as well. That's the crazy part.
Hey Nico.
What's up, dude?
Speaking of movies?
Dude, speaking of movies, I just added Evangelion to my list.
Okay.
Me too.
Dude, that's crazy.
Honestly, I thought it was like a remaster of the season. I didn't think it was a movie. So this is good information. I honestly might just watch that tonight, to be honest.
Interesting.
Sounds good, man. But speaking of movies, guys. Speaking of movies.
Yeah.
Dylan, what the fuck is fishbowl theory?
Oh, fuck. So, funny story about that. I was at my mom's house, was it 2 weekends ago? Maybe it was a weekend ago, I don't remember. And my sister had asked your sister an opinion on something, and it had to do with the COVID vaccine. And I heard that after they had already asked, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I understand the way that she is about it. However, I definitely wouldn't have asked her opinion on it because of how radical her answer would be, and I was absolutely right. That's a separate topic, though, so I'll move on to the fact, I think my mom, I think my mom said something about, something about the world being like fishbowl theory, because we're talking about people who believe in the Earth being flat, and stuff. And then they brought up something about fishbowl in the Earth, and I was like, I've never heard of fishbowl theory and having to do with the Earth, so I was hoping like maybe you guys would know what fishbowl theory is. Apparently it has something to do with the same prospect as like flat Earth and all that shit.
I think I know what it is, where instead of Earth being, a globe where we're all on the outside looking out,
yeah,
it's like a fishbowl where there is an opening that goes out into open space, and then like the stuff we're standing on top of is along the inside of the bowl. I think.
Okay, this search did not help at all.
It could also be something that your mom or whatever completely made up and is not a thing at all.
Like I said, they said something about Nico's sister saying something about fishbowl theory, and I had never heard that before. I'm definitely not finding anything.
You're not finding anything?
It doesn't operate. What? I don't want to read that. That's fucking...
All right, get him on the podcast. Call him in. Let's figure it out. Let's solve the mystery.
I'm good, man. I don't want to bring none of that shit in here. All right, well, good to know that none of us have heard of fishbowl theory. I don't even want to begin to imagine how that works.
Here we go. D.A. Collingsworth, Fishbowl Theory, Part 1.
Oh, God.
Is it a book?
It actually is a thing.
I don't know if it is a book.
But, like, is it actually
wait. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got... damn it, I can't read it.
It's in Latin or something.
No, on the front page of me searching what is fishbowl theory, I have a post for the Mr. Robot subreddit. Someone asking to explain what fishbowl theory is.
Yeah.
And Mr. Robot was a reasonably popular show, and I would not be too surprised if Nico's sister had seen it, and that's what she's referencing. But for some reason that subreddit is private, so I cannot read what answers were perhaps given.
Bummer. Why the fuck would that be? That doesn't make... Okay, whatever. So, Dylan.
What's up?
There's another movie-related thing that I want to ask you here, mister. Dylan,
Sounds good.
The other day when we were watching 500 Days of Summer, you said something about you being jailbait for some reason. What the fuck does that have to do with anything, man?
Yeah, so unbeknownst to some people, I guess, in my previous relationship when we were still dating, like, fucking high school, understandably, my girlfriend at the time was, like, 9 months older than me, so not even really a full year. So there came a point in time when we were, like, hanging out with her family and shit, and her birthday was coming up, except she was about to turn 18, and I, of course, was still, like, 17. So they were like, oh, man, wouldn't it be funny if we had called the cops on you, or I don't remember exactly what they said, because you're going to be 18 dating a 17-year-old, and I was like, and then I got into, like, legal stuff. I was like, well, the law says if you've been dating for more than a year, it's fine, and... You know, it was just a stupid-ass comment I made during the movie because it reminded me of that specific moment in time.
I see.
Yeah, so...
I mean, hey, we've all been there. We've all had to be in a position where we've dated someone who's underage. Ain't that right, Jackson?
Yeah, I'm currently dating a 17-year-old.
My man.
But it's been a year, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Guys, I believe I found our answer on fishbowl theory.
Fantastic.
Okay.
At the very least... I got a totally legal copy of D.A. Collingsworth's Fishbowl Theory book, perhaps, here.
Memoir.
And the basic premise is, here's what Fishbowl Theory is. An inanimate object cannot create an animated object. In much the same way that a fishbowl cannot create a fish.
Yeah.
And what I... am ascertaining from skimming through this appears to be like procreationism propaganda, basically.
Okay.
And in all likelihood, anti-evolution. But there's your answer.
Okay.
Boring.
Listen, man. I
thought it meant
that, guys, is why the COVID vaccine is bullshit. Get that shit syringed right out of your system, boys.
I will say, every new study that comes out about the COVID vaccine makes me feel more and more vindicated for having never gotten it.
Look, Tanner, I may be 2 times more likely to fall victim to autism at this point than you, but that doesn't mean it was a bad choice.
That's fair enough. That is the argument people are going to use. They're going to be like, well, it may cause myocarditis or whatever the fuck, but since I didn't know that at the time, I was being a good person and you weren't.
Look, man, in my defense, my girlfriend at the time forced me to get it, alright?
I don't believe an individual can force you to get...
excuse. That's even sadder.
How and why, I guess I should ask. How does one force you to get a vaccine?
She was like, hey, we can't really see each other until you get vaccinated. And I was like, okay.
Dude, you
Listen,
fucking
man,
simp.
That, I
wanted to see my girlfriend, Tanner. What do you mean?
That's fair, but like getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine is your choice.
I mean, hey, hindsight is 40/20, ain't that right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
which girlfriend was this? Give me the first letter.
One.
Huh?
My
really?
first one. Yeah.
Wait, you were still with her in 2020?
Yeah.
Listen, man, all I'm saying is you shouldn't...
in like 2021, I think.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't let the opinion or decisions of others affect your future life, especially if you're not planning on keeping that person in your life forever.
Well, when you're dating someone for like 2 years, Don, you kind of assume they'll be together for quite a while.
Yeah, no, I feel that one, man.
This just made me think of a movie I'm going to make us watch.
Yeah?
And it may or may not be COVID vaccine conspiracy documentary.
I think I know which... I wonder if it's the one you already... Is it
yeah,
the one
I
you
already shared it with you guys.
Do I have to watch it again?
Sure, it's been long enough.
I'm
not saying I'll pick that this time.
Oh, okay.
Documentary, Tanner. I feel like we talked about picking documentaries previously, and I feel like...
the last one was Pumping Iron, though. This is
documentaries count.
I believe I believe the one we established previously was that like they don't really count. And like Pumping Iron only really counted because it was like not really a documentary.
But I also thought we came to the conclusion that these movies had to show in a public theater or a theater of some sort.
I'm pretty sure we established like March of the Penguins wouldn't count.
Did we? I don't recall this.
I believe we did.
What?
However, we did say that Super Size Me is fair game.
But
okay.
God, I don't know if
we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it.
Okay.
seen Super Size Me like 2 or 3 times at this point.
Speaking of coming to it, Guapish at the movies.
Yeah. You can't do the same theme song that's already over the overlay. Then they're gonna catch
Especially
us.
since someone isn't even from a fucking movie.
It's from Avengers, you dumbass.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
right. No,
What?
the one he's doing is from Avengers.
Oh, gotcha.
The fuck?
Nico, what did we watch this week?
This week, Tanner, we watched some amazing films. Each and
Did
every
we?
one of them better than the last.
Depending on the order, that might be true.
I feel
Exactly.
like I'm feeling the sarcasm building.
In the order I watched them, they got worse.
Oh no.
It sounds like
Crazy.
somebody started with our first film that we'll be talking about here this week. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
Well, I was gonna say I have my 2 catch-ups. Do we want to do those really
Oh,
quick?
yeah.
Get them out of the way?
Let's do the fucking catch-ups.
All right. First movie I watched on the catch-up list is Starship Troopers. Gonna say this movie, as far as I almost said graphics again. As far as effects go, I guess technically graphics because CGI.
You can just call them visuals.
But in terms of that, like, this movie, in my opinion, did it surprisingly well, and it was far more gory than I would expect any movie to ever be. And not any movie to ever be. Let me say, it was
That's
more
a very-
gory than I was expecting it to be. I'll just say it that way. Well, because there's fucking dead bodies everywhere in this movie.
I'm like, this is not anywhere near like Maniac, which we've already watched.
But yeah, they were like really emphasizing like, hey, there's fucking dead bodies everywhere you go in this movie. Also, I was like, man, they're really emphasizing the fact that World War I tactics are just bullshit and not the way to go, especially when you're fighting an enemy that's bullet resistant and is gaining intelligence as you go.
What do you mean by World War I tactics? They fought in trenches and shit the
War
whole
of
time.
Well, I'm thinking more on the lines of war of attrition, where you just keep throwing bodies at a war until one side wins.
Ah, we
Except
call that the
obviously the-
Russian tactics.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever that.
Just keep throwing bodies in the meat grinder. Eventually you'll get through.
Anyway, I kind of acknowledge the fact this movie was kind of memeing a little bit on sci-fi movies, but I still found it enjoyable and the story made decent amount of sense to me. So I gave this movie an S-.
Very high.
I would definitely watch this movie again. I would go
Common
out of my
Dylan
way to
W.
watch it again.
That's higher than I had it. That's crazy.
I know. I told Nico and Jackson, I do look at your guys' ratings to like give myself a basis, but I also don't really base my answer off of that.
Except for the other movie you watched this week, you piece of shit. Fuck you. However,
talking
Dylan,
about?
one thing I want to ask here real quick, my man.
So,
Would you say that the
Oh my god.
the government in Starship Troopers could be could qualify as a fascist government?
in what regard?
Dylan,
I'm
what
not
is
sure
fascism?
What other regards
No,
there
hold
are.
on. We need to establish a baseline here. Dylan, can you define fascism?
Not really. I just know that I think Italy, Germany, and some other third country back in World War II were fascist
The
countries.
United
Yeah, the
States.
Axis.
Yeah, I don't know what the definition of fascism is. I just know Germany and like Italy or whatever were it at some point.
I'm happy you knew that much.
There you go.
Um,
Anyway.
Yeah, so
What
I
do you
can't.
say if the government in this movie falls in line
I cannot
with that?
accurately answer your question if I don't know the definition of the word you're asking me for.
There you go, Nico.
Now, Dylan, did that outfit that Neil
Oh my
Patrick Harris
God.
wore not bear striking resemblance to the Nazi officer uniforms?
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. It's
He
it's a
guesses.
trench coat
There
and a
we
hat.
have it, folks.
It's a hat and a trench. It's an officer's hat and a trench coat. I don't know what you're.
Final nail in the
here.
coffin. The jury is out. The
Yeah.
votes have been cast. The government in Starship Troopers is fascist confirmed.
What's the other one you ranked?
The other movie I watched is Wolf Children, one
Oh.
of Jackson's all-time favorite movies. Yeah,
Which
plot
will
of the
not
movie.
bear any sort of resemblance to Dylan's rating at all here.
Anyway, I thought the plot was very good. The animation style took a little bit to get used to, but I thought the animation style was very cute and everything, and it flowed together really nicely. I like the growing up story and just them going through hardships and all that. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of slice of life animes very often, and especially in movie form. But like, I like how they showed the diverging paths, and then the mom come to the realization at the end, like, she kind of promised when they are born, like, they're gonna choose what they want to be. But she was growing them up like that. She wanted them to be human. But yeah, so I'm gonna give this movie overall an S. Very much enjoyed it. I will definitely watch
Bullshit,
this movie
Dick
again.
Jackson bought the votes.
No, I just think it's a good movie.
Let's go.
I
Well,
guess that he
me
also
and
gets Starship
Jackson got
Troopers an
some-
S-, so it
Me
makes
and
sense.
Jackson got some favorable ratings for our movies, and that's all that really matters.
Nico's just
Yes,
trying
sir.
to fucking... I don't know what he's trying to do right now. He's just trying
He's
Cock
been a little
blocking or
silly
something.
jokester. Anyways, Wolf Children is still at an S-, and Starship Troopers is at an A-.
Is that is Starship Troopers higher or lower?
Starship Troopers,
I can't remember.
it was at a B+ before,
Okay,
Huh.
yeah, it went up one rank.
Okay.
and I'm happy with that. Anyway,
Speaking
I want
of
to eat
movies
your
we watched
pancreas.
this week, especially anime movies. We watched
Yeah.
I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, guys.
We sure did.
We sure did, man.
I watched this
Jackson.
one with my mom.
What?
Ooh.
That's crazy.
That's,
Did it make her
that's an
cry?
interesting choice. I definitely want to hear more about that later. But first, Jackson, can you kind of give us a rundown of this film here real quick?
Oh, I'd love to. So basically, there's some fucking nerd that works at a library, and he meets some fucking chick there at the library, and then he meets her later at the hospital and finds her notebook, which then tells him that she is in fact dying of pancreatic cancer or some other pancreas-related illness, I think. And then they basically just go on this long adventure of becoming friends, getting used to each other. There's a fucking scene where they're at her house, and she's been like teasing him the whole movie. You know, kind of just being like flirty but not serious about it, and he takes it like really fucking far and like pushes her onto the bed. They kind of have like a little bit of drama there. He goes outside, and they like rekindle after some fucking throwaway dickhead character like punches him for no fucking reason. And then, you know, suddenly they're all, you know, chill again. They're gonna like go and make a bunch more memories and fill out her bucket list before she dies. She ends up getting fucking stabbed by some random serial killer or something out of fucking nowhere when they're supposed to go on a date. And then the guy is just really sad, and he goes and like talks to her mom, reads her diary, you know, sees a bit more about like her side of the story. She wrote a little note for him at the end, and then he just goes and lives his life, and that's the end.
It sure is. Just right off the bat, I want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on the fact that they do just establish from the very beginning she has this illness and is gonna die?
I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, I think that's all right. I don't really care that much.
I think it's like setting things up for disaster. So like you get acknowledged the disaster at the end, so you're just dreading it as you're watching all these happy memories pass by.
If anything,
Yeah.
I kind of like it because it puts you into the shoes of the protagonist, because like the reason she was so attached to him at the start is literally just because he was the only one that knew her secret, and she could confide in him because she didn't want to like break the, you know, the horrible news to all her friends and stuff.
Yeah, there
and it
sure
kinda
as hell
make-
isn't any other reason as to why she'd be attached to him.
Yeah, exactly. He's a fucking weirdo.
He's an
He's just
and-
fucking blank piece of wood. He doesn't do shit. He has zero personality. I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. You know, you get to walk along in the protagonist's shoes, which, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I guess the way they do frame their relationship, plus how she inevitably ends up actually dying, it makes make sense in retrospect. Before that, I was just thinking, like, I don't know, wouldn't it be more impactful if they start this relationship and then it's revealed to him that this is going to happen?
I mean,
Yeah,
that required that
probably,
personality
but that's just-
beforehand.
Yeah, it's just that the way the movie was trying to play itself
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, because, like, if she was willing to, like, just tell people about that, why wouldn't she tell it to any of her other significantly more interesting friends who she would rather spend time with?
If any,
True.
the protagonist was boring, but he was also kind of funny, just because he's the fucking, you know, he's just like a there's
Well,
there's
he's
a word for the type of
dickhead
character
for
he is.
one.
Yeah.
He's just
He's
an
just
asshole.
he's a straight man. That's what he is. He's a fucking straight man. He just tells it how it is, and I think he had some funny moments that way. But yeah, most of the time he's just some fucking boring dude.
I mean, here's
Which
the
is
thing,
always
though.
how these romance animes are, by the way. That is literally all of them. The shocking thing about this one is that he really seems to be actively against doing really anything with her, which normally isn't how these play out, but I guess that's the one little twist that they put on the idea.
But at the same time, like, when you get towards the end, you can see how, like, slowly she's, like, chiseling away at him, and it's, like, very, very slow progress until, like, the very end where he's actually willing to start turning towards the light and like actually want to do stuff and like get out and be active and hang out with her. But then by the time he's actually ready to do all that shit, she's fucking gone. And then he's like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do now. So he like decides to take her like legacy, I guess you could call it, and just live it out because it's exactly what she wanted for him. And
yeah,
it's
he's
what she was trying to
her
get.
best friend because I guess that's what she wants.
Now, don't get me wrong.
To be fair, I'm a big fan of her best friend.
I think she's a bitch. Now,
That's
don't get
why
me wrong.
I'm a big fan of her, Dylan. In
I think the
anime
best friend was
form, if
pretty
she were a real
understandable.
person, I'd hate her, but...
The best friend's understandable, honestly. I mean, it's some... Like, this is her best friend, right? And she's hanging out with some random fucking weirdo guy from her perspective without giving her, like, any information about this relationship. Just, like, and she's like, yeah, no, there's nothing. And then, like, the next time he sees her, she's at, like, a fucking cutie date, it looks like, with them at, like, a fucking sweet shop. I'd be freaking out, too. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, you dumbass? Why aren't you telling me anything about what's going on? I would be pissed, too. I'd be like, this guy's like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
Now, hold on
I'd be
a
a little
second.
confused.
Are you saying you'd be pissed? Like, hypothetically, if we just recreate that scenario and it's like Nico and you catch him in a sweet shop with some girl, you'd be pissed? Or are you saying that if you were a girl...
These are high school girls, man. This is like some unassuming high school girl messing with some fucking dude. We're us from guys. I don't think have the same perspective as them.
Right. I'm just making sure that I just wanted to clarify if you're saying you're putting yourself in the role of a female.
If I went to McBee's ice cream shop and I saw Nico sitting down with a random girl I didn't know, I would drop everything I'm holding and fall onto my knees and cry because I just lost him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that your reaction here sounded a bit shocking, considering just the other day I asked you how you would feel about Blakey getting picked up at a gay bar by a bunch of very strong and powerful gay men and just going back to their place entirely, unsuspectingly, thinking that they're just gonna play Mario Kart or something, and you just didn't care. You said it's his life, let him live the way he wants to.
Boys will be boys. Listen, man, I'm a very different person than the friend. I'm just saying I understand her perspective.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not saying I agree with it.
Now, I feel like the real test of whether this movie was successful in what it was trying to do was, did it manage to get you guys to cry, to tear up, did it hit you in the feels at any point?
No,
Yes.
not at all. So the big thing for me with this film, Tanner, is that like initially for like the first half or so, it's a very generic sort of like, a romance anime bullshit movie or whatever. This whole trope of like, oh, this character is gonna die, it's very common in a lot of these sorts of fucking romance films. But then like about halfway through, it takes a big turn with him trying to fucking rape her, okay?
Listen.
and then that completely just like sullies everything that happens afterward. So they never address it ever again. It just happens. And she's like, whatever.
Listen,
But,
she
like,
was
it makes it all
teasing
so
him. He
hard
was
for me.
getting a bit hot under the collar,
Yeah, you're right, Tanner. That
Right.
definitely justifies it.
Once she started saying, get off me, that's when it was too far. But she was very clearly, like, instigating something on him before then.
Yeah.
She
That's
just
fair.
thought it was all jokes and games, and he was like, dude, I have a boner now.
Yeah, I know. I can definitely see a perspective in which this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because mostly because of the way they resolved it. They basically just totally brushed past it happening at all. Like, it was like not a part of the discussion when they're like out in the street in the rain. It was just like, oh yeah, no, it's totally like we're chill. I'm sorry that guy fucking punched me as a dick. But they totally brushed past it. But I can totally see or maybe understand the thought process of the girl in this scenario, because she's been fucking teasing the guy the whole goddamn movie. And finally, like, she was being really fucking like aggressive about it when they're at her place, which is a really private place and a really sus place, I think, frankly, to be teasing a guy like this. And him fucking doing that to her is not understandable. Of course, I'm not fucking trying to say that at all. But from her perspective, I think she could totally see why this would happen, and she maybe just understood that this was most likely going to happen, and she realizes her own faults in it, which is why she doesn't like address it again. But that's all I can fucking hypothesize for why this was totally brushed past and never looked at again.
Yeah.
I still think it's fucking weird.
It's super strange. I don't understand what their decision was to include that in this whatsoever. Like, what was the point?
Man's gonna bust. I don't know, maybe it's like they're trying to just give more reason for them starting like a relationship, quote unquote, near the end because they just didn't have anything to work with previously unless she was constantly teasing him. And I guess maybe they're like, if she's constantly teasing about this, he's got to break at some point. We should show that. I don't know. Still, it's fucking, I think it's dumb as well.
Maybe you could just, like, try and kiss her or something like that instead, Like,
yeah, not push her onto the fucking
force
bed.
her onto the bed and, like, just hold her there and make her cry and shit, okay?
Anyway.
We're gonna move on to the ratings now?
We haven't even addressed
I'm still answering my
question.
Oh, okay.
Dylan, did this movie make you cry or feel emotions at all?
I felt emotions. I don't recall crying, though.
Yeah, I could definitely tell you it seemed to be affecting you quite a bit.
Yeah.
I will say...
I cry very, very easily. Like, impossibly easily.
Same.
So yeah, during this movie, I've literally already seen this movie, obviously, which is why I was requesting it, because, I want to see it again and, verify if I still thought it was bad or not. The only scene that made me feel anything was literally when the main character guy is at her house after she dies, and he, like, turns around, and the mom's like, oh, it's you. That got me for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't, like, fucking tear up or anything, really, about it, but that definitely got me for some reason.
Yeah.
First time I watched it, I don't think I really felt anything.
For me, the fireworks scene hit me in the feels. I didn't start crying, but I could. You can kind of feel it back there, where it's like, oh, if I tried forcing something right now, it would start coming out. But
yeah,
that scene hit me in the feels a bit.
Now, how did your mom feel about this movie, Tanner?
What we watched, a lot of it we were clowning on how fucking goofy and stupid the guy is.
Yeah.
And also goofing on the girl.
Your mom kept yelling at him during, like, the whole hotel scene. Just fuck her already!
God, no.
Bone!
Come on, she wants it!
But yeah, we watched that movie. What else? Oh, no, I'm thinking of... We watched this, and then the very next day we watched The Mist, and we were like, man, these movies are both massive bummers. Just one after the other.
You're not wrong.
But, I think her exact words were, it's pretty good for one of those anime movies.
Oh my god. Okay. Insane.
This sounds about right.
Pretty
Did
high
it make her
marks.
cry?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's just, like, the way that, like, line delivery and, like, character expressions are in anime, it's too goofy for her to take it seriously.
It's also, like, really fucking forced. Like, the whole goddamn movie, it's just the girl leading everything, and it all their fucking talking seems so fake, is how I describe it.
Yeah, the main character in this film is super reactionary to everything that's going on. He doesn't really feel like he bleeds any of the events throughout the film.
Well, because he doesn't.
He's so reactionary, he's actually the guy that assassinated Shinzo Abe.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so what other notes do you have for the film, Tanner? Was that about it? Do we hit everything, you think?
What did we all think about the way she died?
It was stupid
as fuck.
Dude, that was fucked up. I didn't like that at all.
I hated that so
much. Has next to no sort of, like, build up to it whatsoever, which may have been the point, Who
I think narratively it works, and it kind of makes sense and sort of drives some of their messages home of, like, oh, well, yeah, she knows how long she has left, but, like, we all can just die at any moment, so you might as well, like, capture life to its fullest and that kind of shit.
Yeah, she said that, like, 2 or 3 times in the movie. Like, we're all gonna die someday. You could die, like, tomorrow. You never know.
Yeah. But I didn't like seeing that shit.
No, it was stupid.
Yeah. The way he fucking broke down, like, falling onto the stairs, actually, I think was pretty well done. Like, his reaction to seeing that happen so suddenly.
Yeah. That was well done, I agree.
Yeah, because his parents didn't know anything either. Like, they didn't know that he was involved.
You have a girlfriend?
Like, they thought, but he never confirmed anything. Yeah. And I really thought the parents would have put 2 and 2 together at that moment, but they really just didn't get it at all.
He was giving them no comms.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So,
Alright, well, fantastic, boys. As far as ratings go, though, Jackson, how do you think you'd feel about this movie now that you've watched it twice? Has it really changed your opinion on it?
Did you think it was better this second time around than your initial viewing?
I definitely thought more deeply about it this time than the first time. The first time I watched it, I was kind of just like zoning out, like, "Whoa, this is a fucking movie. That's crazy." But I still don't think it was really anything special. I think the animation was pretty well done, but the story was fucking retarded, and I don't like the characters at all. So this is honestly kind of a hard one to rank, to be honest. My lower tier, like D and C picks, are kind of rough to put stuff in, because I don't think it's as bad as fucking Maniac, for example. I'd probably give like a C minus, which sounds even like a little generous from how I've been describing it. But yeah, I think I'll go C minus. Okay. It's a below average film.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Dylan,
crazy that Tanner, how do you think you would rate it?
Okay, I'm gonna give it an A+. I thought it was very good. It did actually manage to hit me in the feels, but it didn't have that little anything like that really pushed it over the edge for me, you know?
Fair.
Fuck, this is really hard for me as well. Because right now, I'm in a similar position as Jackson. It's really floating between fucking D+ and C- for me. I don't know which one it belongs in, though, honestly.
Here, let me look at what you already have in those spots.
Yeah, because, like, I've got like, Fritz the Cat in C-, Sky High, Surf's Up, House of Wax.
Surely you like this more than Pick of Destiny.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I'll give it a C- as well. Dylan, how are you feeling about it, though?
Yeah, you know, the movie was kind of slow-paced. Regardless of the change the main character got at the end, he was still kind of boring and irritating throughout the entire movie. I really hated the twist ending at the end of it all. But I still really enjoyed the plot. I liked the idea that she was slowly changing him and everything. I liked the ending, like the very end after the murder. So I think I'm going to stick this movie at an A.
An A, okay. This is an incredibly split ranking here. This is putting us right at a B.
I was getting a little worried because you started, like, even Jackson was like, I don't know if I should put it in D or C. I was like, ah, shit, I have it all the way up at A. What the hell is everybody else going to pick?
We all look at movies differently. I like that you guys enjoyed it at the very least.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest...
to be fair, like, we're going along with popular opinion on this movie, aren't we?
Yeah, no, with Nico and I are definitely being contrarian here. Basically, everybody unanimously loves this movie.
I mean, the thing though is like I like what I like about what you guys do and what I don't like is you're like, oh, what other movies did I put in this ranking? And I think movies can be good or bad for different reasons. So just because you put one movie in C-, like because it did one thing poorly, you could put another movie that in C-.
I think it's more that we look at the movies as a whole. It's like, okay, this movie is a C- movie. Do I think this movie is better than that movie? That's all how deep it goes. We're not really thinking too much about it.
I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss on that one for me, but
I guess you never miss, huh? Damn it.
Son of a bitch. Speaking of never missing, up next here, guys, we're going to be talking about Evolution.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not where I thought you were going with that. What the hell, man?
Why not?
Why not?
Taylor, would you like to talk about Evolution here a little bit for us?
I can try. Let's see how much of this I actually fucking recall.
Oh no.
That's why I didn't want to talk about it.
I remember.
So we're out in the middle of the desert, and there's this fucking pervert dressed as a fireman, and he sets a shed on fire and throws a dummy in there. You know, this is way too in the weeds. Anyway, guy is out in the middle of the desert. I believe we're in Arizona.
Yes.
Yes. And he's practicing firemanning for some reason, and then a meteor falls out of the sky and crashes into the earth and really fucks his car up. Like, whoa! And then we cut to the local community college, where we have our protagonists whose names, one of them was Block. He was a black guy named Block.
Mr. Block.
I remember that. I don't remember the other guy's name.
The other guy's name was Ira.
Ira, that's right. Weird name. Ira and Block. Anyway, why did they name it anyway? They wind up going out to the meteor thing because for some reason Block is like a part of the American Geological Survey. Huh? They go out, they find the meteor, and they're like, man, that's weird. They take a sample of it, and they go back to their community college science lab. Like, holy fuck. There's living things in this rock. Crazy. And then they find out, oh my gosh, they're multicellular now. And they're like, oh, they're evolving real quick. Evolution. And then they take some kids back to the meteor, and it's doing crazy stuff. It's got like little fungies, and there's now critter crawlers all over the place, and they take some of those critter crawlers. And then the military. Wait, does the military show up at this point?
No, they show up when they try to go back.
Yeah,
right.
It's the third time around.
Now I'm confused because, like, I remember when they brought the kids out, though, they had that truck to try and load the meteor up on it, on that truck. Why did they not do that?
They were unsuccessful.
Okay. They go back, they got these flatworms. I think this is the first of us seeing that some of the creatures are just popping up around town. Mm-hmm. I think Wayne, the lifeguard guy, or not, the fireman guy who failed his test.
Yeah.
I think he sees a weird fish creature at, like, the country club he works at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the little pool thing.
Yeah. And, you know, they look at these flatworms, they're like, man, that's crazy. And then they find out, oh, they can't handle oxygen. They just fucking die.
Yeah.
So they go back to the site, and now the military's taken over. Oh, no. And then they are shockingly antagonistic towards the military guys, just like deeply unprofessional. Literally moons a guy. Huh? What?
They used to know each other.
They could be arrested for that, I'm pretty sure, but
they were friends.
Beheaded at the very least.
Yeah, I guess it was comedy or whatever.
They were old colleagues.
Tee.
They end up coming back later that night. Or do they get their lab broken into first?
No.
Do they break into the military place first? I think they break into the military place one time.
Yeah,
then their lab gets broken into, and then they break back in again?
The order of operations here is all over the place, frankly.
Something happens.
I think we're getting a little too into it here.
You're right, we are. Fucking, then there's a big dragon creature that are, like, crawling out of the hole where the meteor is, and they immediately die until one coughs up an egg. And this one can breathe oxygen. Oh, no. And it flies around, and they kill it. They go to a mall, they have a big chase scene, and they kill it. For some reason, Wayne is now with them. Oh, because Wayne found, like, a big scary fish creature that looks suspiciously like Daisy from Evolve.
I guess.
And they kill the dragon creature, and then the military teams up with them, and they're like, listen, these things, they're gonna fucking take over the planet. And so the military's gonna napalm them, and they're like, no, fire activates them. They're like those dinosaur sponges, except that they work with fire instead of water. And then they figure out that shampoo will kill them for some reason, but they don't do it in time, so the napalm gets dropped, and then it's a big blob thing. It's a big, massive creature, and it's gonna crush the entire state of Arizona. Also, Dan Aykroyd here, and I thought he was very funny. And then they go fight the creature with a fire truck full of shampoo, and they shove it up its asshole. And also, one of them gets sucked into its asshole. Lots of ass jokes in this movie, frankly.
True.
And then they kill the monster, and Ira and the hot chick bang. The end.
Yeah.
She wasn't even that hot.
She wasn't.
So yeah, this movie was pretty crazy. It really felt all over the place, particularly in the pacing. It just felt like it was like constantly having these like lightning quick moments going on, and then it just slows to a halt for quite a while.
Yeah.
Or just moments of fucking nothing. Why were they playing fucking play that funky music, white boy?
That's a good question.
Why are they doing that?
It's a popular song.
Popular song for the time?
Not even. What do you mean for the? That song is from the 70s.
I don't know, man. For the time.
And shit.
It had a revitalization.
It's just a recognizable song that they slapped in there.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, one piece of praise I do want
One Piece.
I do want to send this movie's way before we get too into the negatives, which I'm sure we'll have here. is that I think that the scale of that giant amoeba at the very end was really good, actually. It really sold just how fucking massive this thing was.
I expected it to be bigger, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was a little too small, frankly.
I thought it was way tiny compared to what it could have been. It probably should have been, to be honest.
Yeah, like it looked like it spread a lot more than that. And like it accelerated the growth of it at the end as well.
Yeah, like they were already like showing how big of an area they were covering underground, but then they were also implying that applying fire was going to make it exponentially larger than that even. I feel like it didn't even cover the area they showed on the diagram, to be honest.
Well, the diagram was just showing how big it potentially would grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the diagram was like how much the underground like environment has expanded.
Well,
it was how much
showing
it
that
would
and then
expand.
Also it was projected.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was pretty neat at the very least.
So obviously this movie is meant to be a comedy.
It is
Slightly.
It is.
What
they
the
are
fuck is the
sometimes.
deal with all these comedy movies we keep watching that aren't
I
funny?
don't know
okay?
if I don't know if it would be classified as a comedy is the issue.
This is definitely supposed to be a funny comedy movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It 100% is a comedy. They're pretty constantly like throwing stuff out there that's supposed to be funny. I mean, like Ira fucking pulls his pants down and moons the general. You think that's gonna be in a non-comedy movie?
You guys are right. It's a sci-fi comedy. Fucking.
They're constantly doing
God
like
damn it.
incredibly illegal stuff with the fucking U.S. military, and nothing happens
They're
about
fucking
it.
around.
The dude has to get a fucking thing shoved up his ass to get a alien that went inside of him out.
That was the one scene that I was guffawing at pretty hard. That whole thing where they
Was it relatable?
yeah, 100%. But nah, him having that fly crawling around him and them having to rip it out. But I
I'm
think
saying I want ice cream. I don't care what flavor. It's going on my ass.
The girl just like immediately flip-flopping how she acts to them is pretty funny too. Just like immediately like, oh yeah, you got this, baby. You can get through it.
That was.
But funnily enough, something I have written down here that I think actually might touch on what your some of your confusion is, Dylan, is I say this plot doesn't feel like it's supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, just like the setup of this thing where it is like this existential threat and where we have the big action set piece at the end and it's like aliens and sci-fi and whatever, it very much feels like the genre of comedy is kind of like just kind of smushed onto the plot in a way that is very clunky and does not work for the overwhelming majority of this film.
Yeah, what I would say is, like, there's definitely, like, those moments where they, like, throw something in as, like, a kind of, oh, by the way, this is supposed to be a funny movie. But, like, all the other time, it's, like, sciencey bullshit and military. That's, like, oh, man, this is pretty serious.
There's some, like, decently graphic violence in it, too.
Yeah, that's one thing we talked about when we were watching the movie. I turned to Nico and Jackson, I was like, did they just fucking yada over somebody fucking, like the old dude. We were like, did they just fucking kill a guy and then not do anything of that? Like, nobody had any, like, obviously the old lady, like, fucking lost her mind.
They tried playing that off as a joke.
Yeah,
because Wayne is like, don't worry, he was an asshole, or what.
Yeah, that too, and like the music, I don't even remember what the music was, but the music they were playing over it as he was getting dragged into the water wasn't even like horror suspenseful music. It was like some fucking, not happy music, but it certainly wasn't like music you listen to somebody dying to.
Yeah, they're playing Cotton Eye Joe for some reason.
Was Cotton Eye Joe in this movie?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, there was like a lot of, I don't know, it's exactly like you said, there was just moments where they're just like, comedy, like for whatever reason.
Yeah, it was very clunky to say the least.
Not saying that sci-fi can't be comedy, but like they didn't do it very well in this movie.
They did a bad job of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the music, this is not a criticism or anything, it's just me going, hey, I know that. Is they have a Power Man 5000 song in this movie, which I find very funny, because that is an unbelievably dated band to be including in your movie.
What do you think was their fucking goal here? Was this like, were they trying to be like the next Ghostbusters?
That's what it felt like. I think we definitely said that.
I got very heavy Ghostbuster vibe from when it was Ira, Block, and Wayne like trying to kill the creature.
Yeah. It definitely, as it was getting closer to the end, the Ghostbusters vibes definitely were going up. So I don't know.
I will say, weird. I thought Dan Aykroyd as the governor was very consistently funny in this movie.
It was pretty good.
You would say that, you simp.
I know at one point Jackson was like, wouldn't it be funny if this movie was just a fucking plug for Head and Shoulders? And then at the end, during the credits, we got the fucking Head and Shoulders, like, the commercial or whatever the fuck.
That was funnier than any of the other jokes in the movie.
Yeah, I did in fact look this up after the fact. It was not sponsored by Head and Shoulders, it's all just a bit, which I guess adds to it.
They didn't even get paid or anything, like, nothing for that shit.
I don't know if you'd want your product representing killing a fucking alien monster by getting it, like, you know, blasted up their ass.
It saved the world, though, Jackson. That's the bigger idea here.
And more importantly, it saved Arizona.
True.
But make sure you guys go get yourself a bottle of Dan Aykroyd's Crystal Head vodka.
Oh yeah, that shit slaps.
Have you actually? You haven't tried it, but...
No, of course not.
Maybe that's what we should have for our first drink when I finally get up there.
Oh, there we go. Jackson, you guys fucking had that in, like, your bar at McMinimans, didn't you?
I don't know.
I definitely saw, like, a fucking Crystal Skull bottle.
Yeah, do you have a bottle that looked like a glass human skull?
Yes.
Then, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that's what that was. It was always in the very back, and I think I only ever saw it on, like, the rooftop bar, so nobody ever ordered it.
Oh, gotcha.
That's some premium shit right there, Jackson.
Yeah, they filter it through micro diamonds.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I should have stolen it. I don't think anybody would have noticed, to be completely honest.
Dude, that stuff's sweet. It has its very own microbiome.
I don't think that's true.
It's very own microbiome. Wow.
Now, one thing I did like about this film was that the creature designs, actually, generally, I thought were pretty fascinating. I wish that we could have seen, like, a lot more of those. And just kind of see how this, like, alien species sort of, like, evolves, you know?
Yeah, because the implication was, like, these things evolve incredibly fast and also can evolve into basically anything at this point. They did that kind of well when the two dudes went down after they infiltrated the military base. They were like, oh, look at all this shit that's new. Look how many different creatures there are now.
I will say, though, that entire scene reminded me a lot of, like, the fucking Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when they're walking through that, like, big garden or whatever.
That's fair.
For me, I don't know. Maybe this is a weird bias, or not even a bias, but like...
I would have preferred if this movie about monsters didn't have any in it.
No, I was just gonna say, it might just be me getting in my head over something stupid, but like, the monster designs, I was just like, this just looks like shit people are making in Spore. They didn't strike me as particularly well thought out or interesting, really.
I do like they use practical effects for some of them. So I do appreciate that they use practical effects for a decent amount of it, not just bad CG for all of it.
Yeah. We'll get to bad CG later, though.
Damn. I mean,
Wait, later in this movie, or are you talking about the next one? Gotcha.
Alright, are we done giving the ups and downs of this movie? Are we ranking it now?
Fucking government test lighting the aliens on fire before they're going to napalm all of them. It makes no fucking sense. They're the U.S. government. This movie's really stupid.
Listen, man, they didn't have any reason to think that won't work.
Plot progression, fireworks on everything up until this point. Come on, man.
I do have Hunter's review of the movie here.
Okay.
Okay.
So
should I count this?
What you thought about it?
I'll go ahead, read out his thoughts, and then give his rank, and then we can give our ranks.
Oh, okay.
So here's what Hunter has to say about Evolution. He didn't see any of the other movies. Weird movie, but had some moments. Side guy was a little too rapey for my taste. Now, is he referring to Block? I don't recall this being a thing.
Mr. Block is a fucking hornball, dude.
Okay. Had some funny jokes, but most of them were phallically charged. Spencer from iCarly and the big guy from Remember the Titans were in it, so that's cool.
Was Spencer in it? Where was he?
I didn't notice either, but he says so.
I don't know, man. I'll look.
Thought the ad at the end was well placed.
What a crazy thing to say.
Also, whose Jeep is that? Because they both drive it in equal amount in the movie, and that's confusing.
No fucking way he is!
Yeah, he is. I don't know who the big guy from Remember the Titan. I haven't seen that movie, so... Anyway, overall, nothing special, but I was somewhat entertained. C.
Okay.
Huh. Dude, fucking Kyle Gass is in the movie too? What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Missed
Kyle,
that
gas. Speaking of C tiers, I like that ranking a lot. I think I'm also going to follow Hunter up with a C tier here. How about you guys?
Interesting.
I'm going to give the exact same rank I gave I Want to Eat Your Pancreas at a C-. I think it's another below average movie.
Dylan?
I was giving this movie a different ranking originally, and then we discussed it, and I realized this movie didn't really have a ton going for it. I'd probably watch it again, but not, like, super, like, willingly. So I think I'm just going to give this movie a B- and call it good.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you were forced, you'd watch this movie again.
Tanner loved this movie, on the other hand.
Actually, I am very surprised that I am giving it the lowest rank out of all of us, because I feel like Nico, at the very least, spoke much more negatively than me on it, but I'm giving it a D+.
Damn.
I mean, I've given so many movies a D+ at this point, Tanner. If I keep doing it, it's going to lose all meaning.
Right, okay.
Interesting.
Anyway, that puts us at a C. A solid C.
It's fair enough.
I fear for my movie. I feel like I'm never gonna pick a good movie.
Look, Dylan, that's on you, okay? You need to stop taking this so personally. You didn't make these movies, just like how you didn't make Stephen King's The Mist.
Yeah.
The Mist.
So, just to generally sum up The Mist, the idea is you get all these people gathered in a grocery store. The fucking military is in town for some reason, and everybody's like wondering what the hell's going on. Next thing you know, a big old fog rolls in that's referred to as the mist for obvious reasons. And the only thing people know is that if people go out inside the mist, they just fucking die, and they don't know why. They think it's some kind of toxic cloud. Then they come to find out there's fucking monsters in the mist because they go in the back room and there's a fucking tentacle that fucks up this little kid who's trying to prove something because he thinks he's got big dick energy or something. So then it's like about them like basically living in the store, and people try to escape every once in a while and they just keep dying. Until one point where there's like some religious cult where people are like, this lady knows what she's talking about. She's predicted everything that's happened so far. So now they're just killing people kind of to kill people because she got it in their heads that they need a sacrifice. And then so in the end, we got our main group of people that are like, all right, we need to fucking get out of here. And it's like the store clerk guy is like, I stored groceries, and then they go to grab it and it's gone. The lady stole it. She's like, you can't leave. And then he fucking ends up doming the lady and killing her after she drinks the milk that Nico was talking about earlier. And so then they leave. Not all of the people in their group lives, unfortunately. But the dad, the son, the one main lady, and the two old people, surprisingly, all make it to the car and they leave until the car runs out of gas. And then you get the ultimately depressing ending where this guy caps all 4 people in the car except himself. In return, he just fucking steps out of the car and tries to, like, end it the long, painful way to the monsters. And then the military ends up rolling in and fucking kills all the monsters out of nowhere for some dumbass reason. And
what do you mean?
Just kinda...
You think the military wouldn't be like, fuck, our science experiment unleashed monsters on fucking Maine?
Yeah, we should
like,
probably
here's the
do
thing,
something
though.
about that.
We should give up.
Here's the thing, though, is like the military showed no forward progress of them taking care of this threat at any point until now. So it's kind of out of
What
nowhere.
was that sentence?
Yeah, they're at a fucking grocery store the whole damn time.
Anyway, regardless, so then you kind of sit there with your depressive thoughts of like, man, this guy just killed his son and like 3 other people, and they just needed to wait literally 2 minutes, and they would have been fine. And I think the biggest vindication at the end of this movie is like one of the military jeeps is passing by, and it was the fucking lady in the beginning. She's like, I need to get back to my kids. They're home alone. And they're like, you're gonna fucking die, lady. And she didn't. What's with that bullshit, huh?
No, that was awesome. Honestly, I love the fucking ending to this movie.
The
That shit
ending
was
I also really
great.
It
like
was such a big fucking middle finger, though, in so many ways.
No, it was
No, it's
awesome and
badass.
poignant.
I don't know. I thought it was a middle finger in a couple different ways, but that's
I like
just
how
I
weird.
would
many-
think that.
I think it really
like
speaks
how-
to the situation.
I liked how many actors from The Walking Dead were in this.
It's crazy, dude.
Right? They had
2 of
the
them?
chief from Reno 911 in this film. That was pretty sweet.
They had a lot of prominent like TV actors for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I got two major complaints about this movie.
Lay it on us.
One, the CGI. It's shit. They shouldn't have
terrible.
had it.
It's so bad. Actually, the tentacles look really bad.
Yeah.
The bugs and the flying things, I don't think are nearly as bad as the tentacles.
I think that when like the little flying bugs are like on the glass initially, I think they looked really good there. But once like started climbing all over people and shit, and you got to like see them super up close, they look really rough. Outside that, when things are like, you know, actually outside obscured in the mist and shit like that, like there was that big old lobster thing, like that big old walkie tentacle monster, I think that those were fine. But yeah, once we ever had to see like something pretty up close, like those fucking flyer things, whatever the fuck those were, the spiders, those were pretty rough. And
that makes me disappointed that I was unable to watch the black and white version of this movie, because I do think that would have helped with the CGI. Yeah, significantly. I think it would have covered it up much more nicely.
Gotcha.
But I'd have to buy like a collector's edition Blu-ray of that, which maybe I will someday. Because I do well, my other big complaint is I think the pacing compared to the plot of this movie is way off. Because like the plot is basically, this is like a psychological, like people are slowly losing their minds or whatever, but this movie is actually paced really quickly, and so people kind of just start going insane just kind of immediately. Like it's really unclear how long they're even in there for. It seems like it's only 2 days.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like maybe a few days they're there.
I think a good example of that is the one fucking dude who was part of, like, he's like the mechanic looking guy who was part of the kid dying at the start, immediately fucking switching factions to the crazy religious chick. That happened so suddenly for me, and it definitely speaks volumes for how quickly everybody transformed.
Yeah, and so that's why I think it's paced too fast. Like, the plot calls for it to be like a slow burn, like, psychological thing, but they just have it go so quickly. Like, how long is this movie?
About 2 hours.
It's like an hour 40, I think.
I think it's almost exactly I think it's an hour 58 minutes.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, the big thing about it,
like
too...
2 hours, yeah.
The big thing about it, too, though, is, like, a lot of these characters are experiencing death in, like, supernatural or unnatural or whatever you want to call it, abnormal apparitions that they've never encountered before. And in my mind, that kind of stuff, like when you experience death or things you've never seen before, or like things that are actively trying to kill you, I feel like that accelerates the process of insanity in a way. And I mean, I can understand, like, sometimes, like, we don't have a really good frame of reference for how long they were stuck in the store. In my mind, it's been maybe a week. But it's at this point, it's just like they know the military has something to do with it. They know it's some science experiment shit that's gone wrong. They got this lady in the store that's like nonstop, like spewing religious bullshit that justifies what's going on. And so when people, I think there was like a line in the movie where they're like, when people have like nothing else to cling to, they kind of just go with the next logical thing, which apparently was this lady spewing religious nonsense in a way. So, and the whole, like, mechanic guy going, like, crazy and shit, I think that had to do with, like, him being part of, like, the pharmacy group, where he goes out and, like, tries to get the medicine and shit for the guy who's dying, and he almost fucking dies, and he's been, like, a huge coward throughout the whole movie, so I think he finally just, like, snapped from, like, just being scared out of his mind. So, that might have been it, but I might be misinterpreting a lot here.
Maybe. It's tough to say, Dylan.
However,
one thing that Dylan absolutely misinterpreted while we were watching this movie, those fucking bullshit, I hated this so much, it immediately took me out of the movie. I fucking despise it, guys. We need to stop putting this in fucking movies. The Wilhelm screen. Why was this here? Why did they put it in the movie?
It was not in the movie.
Yes, it was.
You guys are insane. There's no.
Tanner,
it was literally just a scream. Tanner, did you hear it?
I didn't notice, but like I believe if it's in there, people like putting that shit in there.
I listened to it like 4 times. I don't know how you guys heard it.
It's when they're fucking trying to get out to the guy's Land Rover in the parking lot, and the guy gets like jumped by a bunch of spiders, and he falls down, and the Wilhelm scream plays.
It's not. If anything, it's mixed in with his own screams, so it's not like it's
mixed
the only.
in with it, Dylan, but you can still tell it's there.
But like, I thought, why is it such a big deal if it's mixed in? It would only be a big deal if it was the only scream effect playing.
Nah, I just pulled it up on YouTube. It's definitely in there.
There's no fucking. You guys are. Send me the link. I want to fucking
also,
listen to this shit.
It is layered over his actual scream, but it's layered in such a clunky way that it doesn't make any sense. It sounds like there's a second person screaming next to him. It's
just fucking send it to me. Maybe I'll hear it better with the headphones on.
It actually sounds really bad when you actually like examine it.
This is fucking bullshit. You guys are capping right now.
Why did Jackson just send a screenshot of the video?
You guys
well,
sent
I was doing that before
times.
I sent the screen. I was trying to send a screenshot before he asked for the fucking link to it. So I was just trying to show him that there is in fact literally a YouTube video called "The
God
Mist
damn it! I heard it that
Scream."
time.
Yeah,
crazy. I hate it being in movies. I despise it. It immediately takes out all tension from any scene. Like, you everyone knows what the Wilhelm scream is, okay? So, like, you hear it, and you're like, yep, there it is. That's the Wilhelm scream, all right? Congratulations. You're a real great audio engineer, aren't you? Yeah, you're in on this fucking company-wide joke that everyone knows.
Company-wide? Dude, this is an industry-wide.
That's crazy,
Nico's
okay?
absolutely
Good
losing
job!
his mind
Good
right now.
job!
Do you think like somebody sat there after that scene was taken and was like, you know, I don't think his scream was believable enough, or like there wasn't enough oomph in his voice. Do you think we need to put something over that?
100%. They just think it's funny to put it in movies.
It's not supposed to be a funny scene. Okay?
Do you think it's supposed to be like Where's Waldo?
Yeah, the guy being mauled to death by a bunch of fucking alien spiders.
Guys, it's the Where's Waldo of the movie scene. It's just fucking Where's Wilhelm scream. There it is. That's what they do. Where's Wilhelm? That's why they do it. They see if people like Nico can catch it. This is all. It's all here for you, Nico. Everybody knows.
In fact, Nico, you're the exact kind of person that they put it in here for.
Yeah,
they like. If there are any audio engineers listening to this right now, they are eating your reaction up. They love it.
Yeah. This is exactly why they live. They live to do this shit, to hear your reaction.
This movie is getting 4 lower ranks than it should because of that.
Well, considering we go by pluses and minuses, I'm not worried all that much.
4 whole letter grades.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Alright, guys, I think it's a poignant time for me to talk about the theory. The theory.
Go
What's
for
the
it.
theory?
The theory being that, in fact, the crazy religious chick was right all along.
That's crazy that you're coming to a conclusion on which this movie is, in fact, based on science, and she was trying to say it's religion. But go on.
All right, so let's just talk some facts here, right? So basically, everything this chick said was right.
Okay.
So like for example, one of the nights she's talking about how they're gonna get swarmed by like a flock of lotus. That night, a bunch of the fucking bugs come and like swarm them. Okay. There's another that same night, somebody got fucking ganked by one of the bugs to hop on their chest and stabbed him in the neck. Guess what? It hopped on her body too and didn't stab her. It chose to let her live for some fucking reason. Later on in the movie, she's telling them that one of them's gonna fucking die that night. Somebody dies. They end up sacrificing the fucking military guy, and she says that if they do that, then they're not going to get attacked or anything that night. Guess what? They don't get attacked that night. They totally live, and they're totally fine. And then later on, they want to sacrifice the child, the child of the main character, again, as like the other final sacrifice, to save them. Guess what? The guy shoots his fucking kid at the end of the movie, and then very shortly after, everybody's saved. The military comes in like immediately after. And then also, I can't remember, I feel like she was part of the scene where the mom was trying to go and see her kids. Was she supportive or against that? I can't even remember.
Supportive or against what?
The mom, like at the very start of the movie, going into the house and seeing her kid. Yeah. I can't remember if she was for or against that.
I don't think the religious lady was even a factor at that point.
No, she definitely was. She was a very prominent figure
got
from the
into
start.
that pretty quickly after everything happened.
Yeah, I don't think she really said anything about it, though.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say that had more fuel to the fire. She was supportive of the mom going out as well because she was fine in the end. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's something to be said there about the religious chick being right all along, and there being some sort of metaphor based around that. Because honestly, basically everything she said turned out correct, which is weird. And I feel like there's a lot more coincidences to make it not a coincidence, or rather it be like, you know, something they're trying to show. But that's
but at the
that's
same
just
time,
me.
for me, when I think a coincidence is fine. I feel like when the coincidences start stacking up as much as they do in this movie, I feel like there's some kind of bullshittery going on. Like, there's too many coincidences.
She's
Dylan,
communing with the other side.
I was just gonna throw. You do realize that since this is a movie where they are in control of everything that is said, done, and happens in the movie, there are no coincidences, right?
I mean, I don't know.
This is actually a documentary of a real town in America getting taken over by interdimensional alien monsters.
You know, something like that.
I think it's fun to look at the movie from that way, though. I don't know if they're actually trying to show anything or like say some sort of message with that, but I think it's fun to look at it that way.
I mean, to be completely fair, we can at least say that the fucking portal thing at the beginning where the military was fucking around and found out, that part's probably true. And then, like, where it picks up on the religious cues of, like, this is the will of God imposing his wrath upon us, that could also be true in the fact that we opened up a portal to another dimension. That's probably how that all lines up. So
I'm pretty sure this movie has some weird connection to like Stephen King's Dark Tower series, but I don't know anything about that shit, so I couldn't say much about this lore wise.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. I remember there's something about how like these monsters are actually from a different Stephen King book. I don't remember which one it is though.
Yeah.
But yeah, does anyone else have any notes for this film at all? By the way, we do see a Dark Tower poster that the dude is working on. That's currently what he was working on. They didn't make a movie for Dark Tower yet.
He also had The Thing. He had The Thing.
Yeah, he had The Thing and Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Apparently, there's just like a really famous guy who did a lot of paintings for movie posters back in the day, and they're trying to pay homage to him being like a huge part of cinema in that era. So those are all just pieces that he did. So they're going to pay homage to him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the only other note I have is this is the dumbest collection of humans ever assembled.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They're not intelligent people.
No.
I think one thing Jackson ended up pointing out more towards the beginning of the movie, I guess, he was like, isn't the entire, like, storefront fucking glass? And we were like, yeah. And he's like, what the fuck is keeping these monsters out of the store? And we're like, I don't know.
It was a great question,
and then that's like a whole line where they... And they're so surprised too, where the main guy is just like, because the entire front of the store is nothing but one layer of plate glass.
That's literally immediately after Jackson stated, "Isn't the entire storefront glass?" They immediately acknowledged it as a problem in the movie. So I was like, in that sense, it kind of justifies it. Like, at least the movie acknowledges like they're kind of fucked if the whole storefront's glass. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I will say one more thing, and I talked to Nico about this, but honestly, this would be changing the vision of what the book was trying to say. But honestly, I think a huge thing they could have done to make the CG not nearly as awful is just playing into the mist more. That being that when the monsters were like shrouded by the mist, I think they looked pretty sweet. I don't think I have any complaints about the monsters when they're in the mist because they're, covered by it and it hid some of their like awful features. But when, they weren't in the mist and they're full force, they looked like fucking shit because it's a bunch of early 2000s CG. Yeah. I really wish that it's played to that more. And that most of that was just like when they're shrouded in the mist, they're obscuring the monsters, really just playing into the fear of the unknown more, rather than like straight up just giving us exactly what they look like and things like that. Obviously, that totally goes against what the book was doing. But I think for the artistic direction of the movie, I think that would have improved it a lot. But that's just me.
I didn't like how the spiders had human teeth.
Yeah, it was fucking weird, dude.
Spiders are gross. I didn't like them.
Either way, yeah.
Which creature do you guys think could be the most dangerous in the mist?
God.
Probably the spider, just because of how fucking quickly it spread. Like, literally as they were driving along, you could see it basically took over, like, the entire area very quickly.
Yeah, it's
and they had
spiders
acid
as well.
web.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does
I
that
think the
make
locusts,
sense?
maybe. Because the locusts, they're not like a one-and-done sting kind of thing like bees. Plus, they can move around faster because they can fucking fly. Like, I don't know.
They've got natural predators, though, man. Do those spiders have natural predators?
We don't know. The movie didn't acknowledge whether or not they had natural predators. I can only assume.
If anything, they're incredibly prolific, so I'm not that convinced about them. Also, like, at the very end, I don't know if it was actually supposed to be one of their mouths, but it was like a massive fucking corpse that was getting torched by one of the military guys, which looked like it was like a curled up spider carcass. Yeah. So I feel like those things get huge.
Oh yeah,
they get see like a larger spider at one point when they were like trying to leave.
They were leaving.
Yeah.
It was
and I'm
outside
talking about
the door.
like even bigger than that. Like like double the size of it. Like the size of a fucking like SUV.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like we know that they have varying sizes, so it's entirely possible there's a much larger one out there that can be made.
Yeah, it is also safe to assume that there are tons of creatures we didn't even see.
Yeah,
absolutely. One final thought, I guess, before the rankings. There, do you guys think the tentacles were from the fucking the big massive thing?
I don't think so. No,
I don't
that thing
think
was, like,
so.
Huge. And
I feel like the building
like,
would have definitely gotten. Well, then I think the building would have definitely got stomped, or they definitely would have known that creature was there based on its sheer size.
Yeah,
I agree. They would have fucking heard it stomping around.
Plus,
I don't think the tentacles were actually attached to anything. I think they just float around in the mist like that.
That could be. I think it could have been like a growth. Well, the other thing about that scene is like they acknowledged that something was blocking like the fucking air vents or something. So it could have just been some kind of like fleshy growth that just kind of, you know, plants itself somewhere and then just grabs shit and like feeds itself or whatever. I don't know.
Honestly, as bad as the fucking tentacles looked, I actually think they're pretty cool as like a monster design with the way they had like the mouth and stuff and they fucking eat like a cylindrical way. I wish they showed them more despite them looking awful. Anyways, on to the rankings. I'll kick us off here. I thought this movie was pretty alright, honestly, for the horror thing. I think it did a pretty good job building up suspension. And I think some of the monster designs are pretty cool. And like the idea of the mist, honestly, I think it's a really cool idea of just like everything just being shrouded and you're just totally... it's like you're in the fucking darkness, except it's never ending.
Yeah.
I'm giving this movie a B+.
Oh, damn, okay.
Dylan, you seem rather shocked by that, so what rank do you think you'd be giving it?
Obviously I wasn't against watching this movie again. I constantly think about this...
Considering you chose it?
Yeah. I think about this movie a lot, and it's one of, like, the horror movies I can definitely go back to thinking of whenever I think of a horror, esque film. And I'm honestly, at this point, I think it's obvious to state, I'm not as good at recognizing CG as you guys are, so all that doesn't really make sense to me.
You thought those tentacles were real?
I didn't think they were real, I don't know. But despite all that, I think the movie plays the plot very well, and I think, you know, the characters and, like, everything going on is pretty good, so I'm just gonna give this movie an A.
Alrighty. As for me, yeah, I thought this movie was pretty decent. The CGI was rough, as we said previously.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't hate it at all.
Which is crazy.
I don't know why it's crazy, but
You don't like scary movies.
This movie wasn't even that scary, and I feel like my opinion on scary movies has kind of changed a bit since we've been watching a bunch of them as well. I think I'm going to be giving this film a B-.
Ooh, damn, okay. This is way better than I envisioned.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a real solid core to this movie in terms of the basic, like, setup and plot of it.
Yeah.
But they just don't, like, really execute as well as they could.
Yeah, they don't execute. I'd love to see the black and white version to see how that improves, specifically the CGI. I'd love to see, like, a more modern attempt at it, because I think the story is really solid and could probably be done much better now, especially with, like, the pacing, I'd say. I really like the ending as well. Ultimately, the pacing and the creature things hold it back a bit for me, so I'm going to be giving this one a B-.
There we go.
Okay.
Now, there's actually a TV series for the show as well, or this film as well, that came out,
No way.
I think like 5 years ago or something like that.
Apparently it's not very good.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like Chronicles of the Mist or some bullshit, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard that it's basically just like a worse version of the movie.
Gotcha.
I think one of the biggest strengths is that I like the idea of the world building with all of this, and honestly, it makes me want to go and read the book. As crazy as that sounds, I think the movie set it up for me wanting to read the book really well, because I think there's, you know, everything around it is really cool.
Yeah, I think the plot is definitely a strong point of this movie, or like at least the idea of world building.
The TV
Usually
series is only from 2017.
Oh. Yeah, generally from what I've heard with a lot of Stephen King's books is that a lot of them do have like a really good idea behind them. It'll have like a decent start, but
the execution is...
Yeah, I don't think a lot of them pan out super great generally from what I've heard.
Yeah, Stephen King wakes up in a fucking cold sweat. The Mist! What do I do with this now?
I think it's actually the cocaine giving him all these ideas.
Damn. We all get
what's
our
the final ranking,
right?
Jackson? We
Yeah.
didn't hear that part.
That's a B+, baby.
Damn
Holy
it!
shit.
So
Not
close.
too bad.
That's landing exactly where all of my other highest ranked movies are landing.
You're a B+ kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'll take it, man. That's above average by at
almost
least
to an
a
A.
whole grade. I'll get it eventually, boys. I'll have the worst and best movie eventually.
Speaking of getting it, we gotta
We
start
gotta get
getting
some
it at these
movies.
new movies.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, can we poll the Patreon first?
Sure.
Sure.
Why not?
Okay.
Oh, is that going to help like your movie choice or something?
It will. I need to see if something specific in there gets pulled, which it won't.
Roll
but-
that movie.
It is Stand By Me by Tutbot.
Whoa, another Stephen
Damn.
King movie.
Crazy.
Well, I'll go ahead and give my pick then.
Okay.
We're gonna have to figure out. Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
What?
I had some movies I was very excited to pick, but then I realized today is a very special day. That means I
your
need
birthday?
to pick a very special movie. Today, for those of you who are not aware, is the 30-year anniversary to the day
Oh no.
of the release of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
No way.
So I'm gonna be picking Jurassic Park for my movie.
Let's fucking go. I love Jurassic Park.
I can't wait to tear into that movie. I'm kidding. I'm sure Jurassic Park is great. As for my film, I did my cute little number generation here, boys.
Let's go.
And it looks like... Yayo, men. We're gonna be watching One Piece, Movie 4, The Adventures of Dead End.
Huh.
Movie 4?
Yes, sir, Movie 4.
How lost am I gonna be?
The One Piece wrap will be a required viewing for everyone before watching the film.
Okay.
I think I've already watched it, but I don't think I
Watch it
remember
again so it's fresh in your mind right before you watch the movie.
Damn. Okay.
One Piece. It's called One Piece Movie 4.
The Adventures of Dead End.
Movie 4, The Adventures of Dead End. How many dashes and colons are in here?
None to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
There we go. We got it.
Well, there we go. We're going to be watching Stand By Me, Jurassic Park, and One Piece Movie 4, The Adventures of Dead End.
What an assortment this week. This is truly a mixed match.
Is Stand By Me a horror movie? You said it was
No.
based on a Stephen King. Ah.
Yeah.
Stephen King is an all horror man. Come on.
He's at least 90% horror.
Yeah, I know.
They actually have a reference to Stand By Me in the original Pokemon games. When you analyze your TV, it's playing Stand By Me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, I think that about does it for this week's episode, guys. Jackson, would you like to tell the people about the Patreon?
No.
Please.
It's been so long since you've told them, man.
Yeah, that's because I've got a bad memory and I'm not going to remember all the perks.
How do you think
Okay.
I feel, man? I still do it.
That's fine, man. We can fill in the blanks for you.
Awesome. Then I'd love to tell you guys about the Patreon. We've got some crazy rewards. Kicking it off with the best one you get is the 500 slime coins, of course.
Yeah.
And also exclusive access to our Discord server, which you are able to request movies in, as well as topics, and also chat with us if you'd like to. Also, generate slimes with those 500 slime coins you get. One time, you only get them once. No more, because that's a lot of work for me. You also get access to, of course, our pre- and post-guap specials on Patreon. You get access to our episodes early before they come out on YouTube, as quickly as they're made, frankly. You get a special role in the Discord as well. You get your name read out after every episode. What else is there? Am I missing anything?
Jackson,
think
would you
you
like
hit
to
everything.
read out their names right now?
Frankly, I'd love to if I had the list present. Where is it?
I'm grabbing it right now.
You should just pin the fucking screenshot.
Well, it changes every week.
Oh.
So there you
I
go.
was a little too quick. All right, so we've got some awesome patrons here. Starting off with Lava Skin, then we've got Top Ramen Man, Joshua Bean, Happy Pride Month Faggots, Tutbont, Lucas Ledette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards. Thank you guys all for subscribing to our Patreon, and we hope that we get some new members at the end of this week.
Especially you, Jacob Edwards.
Ooh-wee.
Bye.
Bye.